The alley behind the diner is a tight throat of brick and steam, and the night air bites at my arms while I drag the trash bags to the dumpster. I'm humming to drown out the city, something tuneless my mom used to sing. When I hear the pop, 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 small and neat like someone snapping fingers, I freeze. The sound is wrong for fireworks, too fast for a car backfiring. My heart slams once hard and then everything slows. I peek around the corner and see three men standing under the single busted street lamp. One of them is on his knees, head lolling, blood black in the yellow light. The other two have guns with long barrels, the kind I've only seen in movies. One of them looks up. His eyes meet mine. I feel the impact like a punch to the sternum. My legs want to run, but I'm stuck, a stupid statue in a stained apron. The man lifts his gun, casual, like he's pointing at a pigeon. I think, this is it. This is how I die, in an alley that smells of grease and sour milk. Then a shadow moves behind them, tall and dark, and the gunman's head jerks sideways with a wet crack. The second man spins, but the shadow is faster, an arm looping around his throat, twisting until something snaps. Both bodies drop. The shadow straightens. He's wearing a coat that looks expensive even in the dark, and his shoes are shiny, untouched by the grime. He steps into the light and I see his face, sharp cheekbones, eyes like night, mouth set in a line that says he's done this before and will do it again. He flicks a glance at the kneeling corpse, then at me. "You're bleeding," he says. I look down. A thin red line runs along my forearm where a bullet or maybe a brick shard caught me. I hadn't felt it. He walks over, pulls a handkerchief from inside his coat and presses it to the cut. His fingers are cold. "Can you walk?" I nod because my voice is gone. "Good, you're coming with me." He doesn't ask, doesn't explain. He just takes my elbow and steers me toward the mouth of the alley where a black car idles, low and sleek. The rear door opens by itself, or maybe someone inside pulls it. I hesitate. "If you stay, you die," he says, voice flat. "If you come, you live. Decide." I get in. The door shuts and the city rolls away, the diner, the bodies, the whole life I've been drowning in since Mom got sick and the bills piled up. I expect sirens, but the streets stay quiet, like the city owes this man its silence. I finally find my voice. "Who are you?" He's staring out the window, chin resting on steepled fingers. "Vincent Morty." The name lands like a coin in a deep well. I've heard it whispered by the cooks at the diner, always with a quick glance over the shoulder. They say he runs the waterfront, the unions, the judges. They say if you owe him money and you're smart, you shoot yourself before his collectors find you. I swallow. "Are you going to kill me?" His eyes shift to me, unreadable. "Not tonight." The car glides into a private underground garage that smells of oil and rubber. The elevator doors open with a whisper. I step out onto marble so polished I can see my own frightened face. The penthouse is huge, all dark wood and glass, the air cool and still. A single lamp glows over a sofa that looks like it costs more than a year of my rent. He tosses his coat over the back, loosens his tie. "Guest room is down the hall. Shower, sleep. Tomorrow we talk." I stand there, clutching my bloody apron. "I have work at 6. You're not going back." He says it like gravity, like fact. I want to argue, but the words die in my throat. I walk where he points, past walls lined with books I'll never read, into a room with a bed big enough for 4 people. The door closes behind me and I finally breathe. The shower is marble and glass, the water pressure perfect, and I scrub the alley off my skin until the drain runs clear. When I come out, someone never saw them, has left a white t-shirt and gray sweatpants folded on the bed. I put them on, climb under the covers, and stare at the ceiling until exhaustion drags me under. Morning comes gray and soft through curtains I didn't close. I pad into the kitchen, following the smell of coffee. Vincent stands at the counter in a black shirt, sleeves rolled up, revealing a tattoo of thorns around his left forearm. He doesn't look up. "Milk, no sugar," he says, sliding a cup toward me. I take it. The ceramic is warm. "Thank you." We drink in silence. I keep waiting for him to explain, to threaten, to do something. Instead, he opens the fridge, pulls out eggs, cheese, spinach, and starts cooking like this is normal. The skillet sizzles. "Sit," he says. I sit on a leather stool. He plates an omelet, sets it in front of me, then leans against the counter with his own plate. The food is perfect, better than anything I've had in months. I clean the plate and feel guilty for how easily I accept it. "I need to go home," I say. "No." He rinses the pan, sets it in the rack. "Someone saw you with me. Word travels. If you walk out, you're a target." "I didn't ask for this. You looked. That was enough." His tone isn't cruel, just certain. I wrap my hands around the coffee cup. "So I'm a prisoner. You're a guest. Guests follow rules." He wipes his hands. "Stay inside. Don't answer the door. Don't use your phone. The staff will bring whatever you need." I want to laugh at the word staff, like this is Downton Abbey with blood on the carpets. Instead, I ask, "How long?" "Until I fix the mess you stepped in." He walks past me, close enough I smell cedar and something metallic underneath. At the hall, he pauses. "Library's down the hall if you read. Gym's upstairs. Don't go onto the balcony. Snipers like rooftops." Then he's gone. The front door closes with a heavy click, and I'm alone in a silence so thick it feels like water. I explore because I can't sit still. The library is floor-to-ceiling shelves, leather spines, a ladder on rails. I trail my fingers along the books, reading titles: Gibbon, Plutarch, Sun Tzu, a whole shelf of Italian poets. I pull out a volume of Dante, flip to the frontispiece, and find a name inked in tidy script: Lucia Morti. His mother, maybe. I put it back. The gym smells of rubber and steel, a heavy bag hanging from the ceiling, weights lined up like soldiers. I return to the living room and stand at the window. The city spreads below us, tiny cars, toy people, distance turning the noise into a hum. I think of my apartment with the cracked linoleum, the neighbor's yapping chihuahua, the eviction notice taped to the door. I wonder if the diner manager even noticed I didn't show. Probably replaced me already. Lunch arrives on a tray: chicken sandwich, sparkling water, a slice of chocolate cake. I eat every crumb and hate how grateful I feel. Afternoon blades into evening. I read 2 chapters of The Art of War and feel like a cliché. When the front door opens again, the sky is bruised purple. Vincent enters carrying a small black duffel. He sets it on the coffee table, unzips it, and pulls out a matte black pistol. My stomach tightens. He checks the magazine, racks the slide, the sound sharp in the quiet. "Come here," he says. I walk over. He holds the gun out, grip first. "Take it." My fingers close around cold metal. It's heavier than I expect. Pointed at the wall, I do. He moves behind me, adjusts my elbows, his touch light but firm. Wider stance, relax your shoulders. When you're ready to shoot, exhale halfway, squeeze, don't pull. His breath stirs my hair. I lower the weapon. "Why are you teaching me?" "Because knowledge keeps you alive." He takes the gun, sets it back in the bag. "Tomorrow I'll take you to the range." I expect nightmares, but sleep is a black pit. When I wake, sunlight stripes the bed and someone has left fresh clothes: jeans, a navy sweater, underwear still in the package. I dress, brush my teeth with a new toothbrush, and find Vincent in the kitchen again. This morning he's on the phone, voice low, words in rapid Italian. He ends the call when he sees me. "Breakfast, coffee's fine." He pours 2 cups anyway, then leads me down to the garage. The Maserati waits, engine growling. He drives fast but smooth through the city, windows up, classical music low. I watch his hands on the wheel, the way his knuckles tighten around curves. The gun range is in a warehouse district, no signs, just a steel door. Inside smells of oil and cordite. A man with arms like ham hocks nods at Vincent, calls him Don Morty, and hands us ear protection. For 2 hours I learn to shoot: stance, grip, sight picture, trigger press. The recoil stings my palms, but after the first magazine I stop flinching. Vincent stands behind me, correcting, praising once when I group 3 shots inside the 9 ring. "Again," he says. By the end my arms shake, but I can hit a silhouette center mass at 10 yards. Back at the penthouse he makes sandwiches with prosciutto and arugula. We eat on the sofa, legs almost touching. "You learn fast," he says. "Survival instinct." I wipe my mouth. "What happens now?" "Now we wait for the city to settle." He studies me. "You're not what I expected." "You expected hysterics." "I expected begging." I shrug. "I've got nothing left to beg for." His eyes darken, but he says nothing. That night I wake to the sound of voices in the living room. I creep to the door, open it a crack. Vincent stands with 2 men, both shorter, both nervous. One has a bandage on his cheek. They speak Italian too fast for me to follow, but I catch vendetta and traditor. Vincent's voice drops to something that could cut stone. The men leave. He stands alone, shoulders rigid. I walk out. "Everything okay?" He rubs a hand over his face. "My youngest enforcer was found in the river yesterday, hands gone." The image hits like ice water. "I'm sorry." "Don't be." He knew the rules, but his voice is hollow. He pours himself a whiskey, downs it. "Go back to bed." I hesitate. "Will you sleep?" A bitter smile. "Sleep is for the innocent." I return to my room but leave the door open. An hour later I hear his footsteps pause outside, then he moves on. The next day he's gone before I wake. A note on the counter says, "Back by dinner." The hours stretch. I read, practice dry firing with an unloaded gun, watch the city pulse below. I'm in the library when the front door opens. Vincent enters carrying a small velvet pouch. Without a word he empties it onto the coffee table, a gold locket on a delicate chain. He opens it. Inside is a tiny photo of my mother from before the cancer, when her hair was still thick and dark. My throat closes. "Where did you get this?" "Your apartment was ransacked. I had someone salvage what mattered." I pick it up, fingers trembling. "Thank you." I want to ask how he knew, but the answer is obvious. He watches, he listens, he owns information like currency. I slip the chain around my neck. The locket rests over my heart, warm as skin. Dinner is takeout from a steakhouse, served on real plates. We eat in the kitchen again, trading small stories. I tell him about the diner regulars, the fry cook who quotes Shakespeare when drunk. He tells me his mother grew roses on a fire escape, that she smelled like cinnamon. Later, he spreads a city map across the dining table, marks intersections, explains territory lines. When he talks about business, his voice flattens, becomes something mechanical. I watch the way his mouth tightens, the way his thumb rubs the edge of the paper like it wants to tear. Around midnight, he says he has to leave. I stand. "Be careful." He looks almost amused. Always careful. Still, he pauses at the door. Lock this behind me. I do, then I pour myself the last of his whiskey and sit in the huge quiet, listening to the blood in my ears. Days blur into a routine: breakfast, gym, shooting lessons, dinner, silence. Some nights he's home, some nights he's not. When he's gone, I feel the penthouse stretch like an animal missing its master. When he's here, the air vibrates. One evening, I find him in the library cleaning the pistol, oil gleaming on his fingers. I sit across from him. Tell me about the first time you killed. His hands still. That's not a story for polite company. I'm not polite company. He meets my eyes, decides something. I was 17. My father sent me to collect from a butcher who shorted us. The man laughed, said I was a puppy. He pulled a cleaver. I shot him in the throat. The sound was wet, smaller than I expected. He wipes the slide with a cloth. Afterward, I threw up behind the shop. My father said weakness is a luxury. Then he bought me dinner. He sets the gun on the table between us, a confession of steel. That's when I learned the world belongs to whoever's willing to pay the higher price. I reach across, touch the back of his hand. His skin is warm, faint smear of oil on the knuckles. He doesn't move, doesn't breathe. After a second, he turns his palm up, threads our fingers together. We stay like that until the lamp flickers. Friday night, he takes me to an Italian restaurant in Little Italy, back room curtained off, checkered tablecloths, candles, and bottles. We eat pasta with clams, drink wine that tastes of cherries. No one approaches us. The waiter keeps his eyes lowered. When we leave, the street is thick with tourists. A man bumps into me hard. Before I can blink, Vincent has the man by the throat, shoved against a wall. The man's eyes bulge. Vincent's voice is a whisper of gravel. Apologize. The man stammers it. Vincent releases him, straightens his coat, takes my elbow like nothing happened. In the car, I say, you can't break someone's neck for bumping into me. I didn't break his neck, be grateful. His knuckles are white on the steering wheel. I touch his arm. I'm fine. He exhales through his nose. The city is hungry tonight. Back upstairs, he pours another whiskey but doesn't drink. I stand beside him at the window. Tell me what you need, I say. Peace. The word sounds foreign in his mouth. I slide my hand up his back, feel the tension corded under the shirt. He turns, eyes searching. You should hate me. I know. Why don't you? Because you're the first person who ever kept me safe. Something breaks in his expression. He sets the glass down, cups my face with both hands, thumbs brushing my cheekbones. If anything ever happened to you, it won't. Swear it. I swear. He kisses my forehead, my temples, the corners of my eyes. I feel each press of lips like a brand. Then he steps back, fists clenched. Not yet, he mutters, more to himself than to me. I nod, heart hammering. The next afternoon, I'm reading when the elevator dings. I expect Vincent, but three strangers step out, suits too shiny, smiles too wide. My stomach drops. The tallest one has eyes like a rat. Where is he, sweetheart? I stand, book falling closed. He's not here. We'll wait. They fan out. Rat Eyes picks up a photo of Vincent and his mother. Pretty lady. Shame, what happened to her? I back toward the hall. You should leave. We're not gonna hurt you much. I reach the bedroom, slam the door, throw the lock. It won't hold. My hands shake as I open the nightstand drawer, pull the pistol Vincent left for me. I rack the slide like he taught me. The door shudders under kicks. I aim at the center, exhale halfway. The wood splinters. Rat Eyes steps through. I squeeze. The gun bucks, loud in the small space. He staggers back, surprise blooming on his face, red soaking through his white shirt. I fire again. He drops. The other two scramble for cover. I duck behind the bed frame, heart in my throat. Footsteps pound in the hall. Shots echo, then silence. Vincent's voice raw, clear. I stand, gun trembling. He appears in the doorway, eyes wild, shirt splattered. His gaze sweeps over me, the body, the smoke. In 2 strides, he crushes me to his chest, hand on the back of my head. I'm sorry, he whispers over and over. I cling to him, breathing gunpowder and cologne. If slow burn romance with high stakes is your thing, hit subscribe. Now back to the story. He holds me so tight my ribs creak, but I don't want air. I want the iron of his arms, the drum of his heart against my cheek. The gun dangles from my finger, barrel still hot. He takes it, flicks on the safety, sets it on the dresser without letting me go. Blood freckles his cheek, someone else's. I can't stop shaking. Are you hit? He asks, voice low, frantic. I shake my head. Words feel impossible, thick as cotton. He pulls back far enough to search me anyway, palms skimming my arms, my ribs, my thighs, as though wounds might be hiding under denim. When he finds nothing, he presses his brow to mine. Christ, you're ice. I didn't know if I could. You did. He kisses me hard like sealing a vow. You will always do what you have to. That's why I left it loaded. Sirens howl somewhere far below, but they're moving away. The city learned long ago not to hurry to this address. Vincent exhales through his nose, steadying. We have minutes. Pack 1 bag, clothes, boots, the locket, nothing else. He steps into the hall. I force my legs to move, stuff a duffel blindly. Jeans, sweaters, the worn notebook I keep spectrograms in, the velvet pouch of my mother's locket now warm against my sternum. When I emerge, 2 of his soldiers are wrapping Rat Eyes in plastic. The third invader alive, hands zip-tied, stares at the ceiling, lips moving in silent prayer or curse. Vincent wipes a smear from my doorframe with a gloved thumb. No cops, no headlines, just ghosts. He meets my eyes. You okay to walk past that? I nod, though my stomach flips at the tarp's crimson puddle. He takes my hand, threading our fingers the way he did the first night on the barge, and leads me through the service elevator. Doors close on the sterile scene, sealing the violence inside marble and steel. We drop into the parking garage. Night air laced with exhaust and river brine floods my lungs. A black SUV idles, a driver I don't recognize hops out. Vincent opens the rear door, helps me in like I'm made of spun glass. He climbs after, wraps the partition. Safe house too, fast. Tires squeal, fluorescent lights strobe across his face, carving shadows under cheekbones. He unbuttons his blood-spattered shirt, balls it, stuffs it into a plastic bag someone left on the seat. Beneath, a white tee clings to the cut of him, lean, coiled, lethal. I can't look away. Who were they? My voice cracks. Soldiers for the Caruso crew, the family that thinks I'm weak because I keep you alive. He wipes a mist spot of red from his wrist. They were told to bring you in, make you scream on camera, force me to trade the recording for your skin. My stomach knots. They knew about the audio. They suspect something exists, they don't know what or where, yet. He watches the garage gates disappear behind us. But they will keep coming, louder each time, until we bury them or they bury us. I hug the duffel to my chest. Where's the safe house? An hour north, old subway maintenance tunnel, no cell, no satellites, just steel and dirt. He turns to me. You'll hate it. As long as you're there. His jaw flexes. You're tethered to me now. That means you inherit every war I've ever started. Headlights carve tunnels through the night. We speed past warehouses, then onto the FDR, river on our left black as spilled ink. He produces a small field recorder, my brand, the one I used the night of the gala, and hands it over. While we drive, listen. Tell me if it's been doctored. I thumb play, the familiar hiss blooms, then my own breathing, the clink of champagne flutes, the scrape of my stiletto on opera marble. And under it like a ghost, the wet thud of the silenced pistol, the body drop, the whispered Sicilian vow of the hitter. I hear my gasp, tiny, involuntary, the moment I captured a murder I wasn't supposed to survive. I stop the tape. It's the original, I whisper. No edits. He studies my face. You sure? Positive. The room modes match the opera hall. Spectral decays untouched. Whoever lifted it from my cloud didn't tamper. Good. He takes the recorder, snaps the memory card out, and before I can protest, crushes the plastic between his palms until it splinters. Tiny shards rain to the floor mat. He winds the window, hurls the remnants into the slipstream. One copy fewer. That was evidence. That was bait. He closes his fist over the microSD. Now it's gone. I stare at the empty recorder, feeling oddly hollow, like I've lost a piece of myself because I have. That recording is the reason I've been running, bleeding, craving sleep I'll never get. And he just erased a shard of it with the same casual brutality he applies to everything else. He must read my face. You want it destroyed, I'm accelerating the schedule. By making me public enemy number 2. Better than number 1, he leans close, breath warm against my temple. I won't let them take you again, ever. We exit the highway into the industrial maze of the Bronx. Streetlights die one by one as though someone snipped their wires. The driver cuts engines inside a vacant lot surrounded by chain link and razor wire. Beyond, a graffiti-scarred brick building squats beside sunken subway tracks. Vincent opens my door, offers his hand. I take it, pulse skittering. The air smells of rust and dead rats. He shoulders our bags, leads me through a side door down a flight of iron stairs. Each step clangs, echoing like we're descending into a cathedral of iron. At the bottom, a single bulb flickers, revealing a corridor lined with obsolete signal relays and dusty conduits. We stop at a steel hatch. He spins the wheel, locks disengage with a pneumatic sigh. Inside, a low room, maybe 20 by 20, concrete walls sweating, bunk beds bolted to the floor, a card table, 2 folding chairs, a camping stove. On the wall, an ancient phonograph, horn flared like a lily beside crates of vinyl. No microphones visible, but I know better. He's wired his own sanctuary, always listening. He drops the bags, shuts the hatch. The thud seals us inside a tomb. Home sweet purgatory, he mutters. I sit on the lower bunk, mattress thin, springs groaning. How long? Till I gut the Caruso lieutenants and their new consigliere, your ex among them. He kneels, unlaces my boots, pulls them off, then his. Sleep, I'll take first watch. Watch for what? We're under 40 feet of bedrock. For you to break, he tucks a blanket around me, kisses my hair. Close your eyes, engineer. Exhaustion drags me under like an anchor. I dream of metronomes ticking inside coffins, of hands reaching through opera curtains, of Vincent's voice, real, audible, saying my name again and again until it becomes the only song I know. I wake in pitch black, disoriented. A warm weight lies against me, Vincent fully clothed on top of the blanket, arm draped over my waist, pistol under his pillow. His breathing is shallow, ready. I shift, he tightens instinctively. Time, I whisper. Still night. His voice is gravel in the dark. Go back. I thought you don't sleep. I don't, but I like pretending when you're here. I twine our legs, burrow closer. Tell me something I don't know. A pause, then. I've never brought anyone to this place. Why me? Because you're the only person who's ever heard me breathe. The confession hangs between us, intimate as sweat. I press my lips to the hollow of his throat, feel his pulse gallop. He rolls, half covering me, forehead to forehead. If you want out, say it now. Once I start this next part, bodies in rivers, arrests buried, your ex disappearing, there's no clean exit. I think of the prosecutor's sneer, the headlines he threatened to spin, unstable, vindictive, discredited. I think of the gold locket against my skin, of my mother's eyes inside. I'm already dirty, I whisper. Might as well own the stain. He exhales, shaky, and for the first time I feel the shape of his need, sharp, relentless, starved. He kisses me, not the fierce branding of the opera house, but slow, exploratory, like a man learning a country he intends to rule. I answer, opening under him, fingers sliding into his hair. The world narrows to breath and friction. When he pulls back, we're both trembling. Not yet, he murmurs against my mouth. When this war ends, I'll take you properly, loudly, until every ghost in this tunnel knows you're mine. I nod, throat thick, then let's end it fast. Morning filters through a ventilation grate, pale bars striping the floor. We breakfast on canned peaches and espresso from a mocha pot. He spreads a fresh map across the card table, Little Italy, waterfront, the phonograph vault marked in red. Phase 1, he says, tapping the river barge. Caruso stores heroin inside plaster statues. We intercept tonight, replace the shipment with hollow ones containing my soldiers. When they open them at the vault, we're inside their sanctum. And Phase 2. I trade them the recording. He holds up the micro-SD he supposedly threw away. It glints between his fingers like a magician's coin. For you. They accept, thinking it's the only copy. We walk out. The cops your ex brings will find the drugs, the bodies, the confession. He'll go down with them. I stare. You kept the card. I keep what's mine. He pockets it, but I need you to duplicate it first. One more layer of insurance. I open my laptop, plug in a portable interface. He watches every keystroke as though I might siphon the sound into the ether. I duplicate the file onto a fresh drive, seal it inside a watertight capsule the size of a pill. He threads the capsule into the hollow of a 78 RPM record label, Bessie Smith, Backwater Blues. Analog smuggler, I tease. Digital is treacherous, vinyl keeps secrets. Evening falls early underground. We suit up, black jeans, thermal shirts, Kevlar vests he straps on me himself, fingers lingering at my ribs. He offers a small earpiece. Custom freak, you'll hear me even if I don't speak. I insert it, his breath fills my head like a private ocean. Testing. He taps his throat mic, voice a subaudible rumble. Count to 5. I do, he nods approval. Let's write an ending. The driver, same stone-faced man, takes us to a pier fogged so thick the street lamps look like drowned moons. The barge looms, rusted, listing its deck stacked with crates marked art exhibit. Vincent's crew, 6 men, all lean, all eyes like scalpels, wait in the shadows. No one smiles. Vincent squeezes my hand once, then we're business. I climb aboard, pretending to inventory. In truth, I'm planting passive mics under girders, magnets holding them like barnacles. Each feed routes to my laptop in a Pelican case. I hit record, the ship becomes my orchestra. Cranes groan, crates swing. Somewhere inside plaster, heroin whispers. Vincent signals, his men move, swapping statues with surgical speed. I hear only his breath in my ear, steady, a lighthouse. Storm clouds bruise the sky. First drops hit my face, cold as pennies. The ship casts off, towed by a tug that throbs like a dying heart. We're escorts, invisible among barrels and tarps. Halfway downriver, headlights knife the fog. A speedboat arcs alongside, armed figures in slick balaclavas. My pulse spikes. Vincent's voice, steady, let them board. They do 6, maybe 7, rifles raised. One flips open a crate, plunges hand into plaster, yanks out a shrink-wrapped brick. He laughs, waves the others deeper. They never see Vincent's soldiers rise behind them, ghost silent. I crouch beside a capstan, hit a key. Over the deck speakers blares the confession we spliced earlier. Caruso underboss admitting murders, bribes, the location of the phonograph vault. My ex's voice bleeds through the background, colluding. The invaders freeze, confused. Vincent steps into the light, twin pistols lowered. Gentlemen, you're live on every frequency the Coast Guard scans. You've got about 90 seconds before they triangulate. Panic, some dive overboard. Others raise weapons, muzzle flashes strobe. I flatten, ears ringing. Vincent moves like liquid smoke. 1, 2, 3 men drop, the rest surrender. He kneels beside the lone survivor, presses pistol to forehead. Tell your boss the recording is en route. If he wants it, come to the vault at dawn. Bring the girl's ex. No cops, or the audio hits every newsroom in the country. The man nods, teeth chattering. They speed away into rain. Vincent turns to me, rain dripping from his lashes. Still breathing. Still listening, I answer. He smiles small, fierce, and for a heartbeat the war recedes. Then he's barking orders, clean up, bodies wrapped in tarpaulins, chains, weights. The river claims its tithe. We dock at a crumbling pier near the decommissioned opera house. Dawn is a rumor. He leads me through backstage corridors I remember too well, velvet rotted, chandeliers draped like hanged men. The wings, the phonograph vault waits, a concrete room beneath the orchestra pit lined with shelves of shellac and wax. Inside, crates of Bessie Smith records sit like innocents. He slides the marked disc onto a vintage turntable, lowers the needle. Crackle hiss, then the capsule drops into a velvet-lined cup. He pockets it, winks. Footsteps echo above, the Caruso delegation arriving, confident, armed. Among them I hear a familiar tenor, my ex, voice oiled with ambition. My stomach knots. Vincent cups my face. Remember, you asked for this ending. I asked for you, I correct. He kisses me, swift, possessive. Then let's give them a finale they'll never forget. He snaps fingers, lights die. Darkness swallows the opera house whole. We melt into the wings, ghosts awaiting cue lines only we can hear. Darkness inside an opera house is different, velvet thick, swallowing, alive with memory. Every creak of balcony wood, every rustle of bat-winged curtains carries the echo of arias and assassinations. I breathe through my mouth so the scent of mildew and gun oil doesn't cut the back of my throat. Vincent's hand finds mine in the black. His pulse taps against my wrist. Steady, cert. He squeezes once, ready. Over the earpiece his breath hitches, not fear but anticipation. Then silence. The man who never speaks is listening to the building, the way a wolf listens to the forest. Footsteps overhead, 2, maybe 3 sets crossing the stage. A flashlight beam slices through a broken dome window, sweeps across rotted seats, disappears. Dust motes swirl like ash. I press my spine to the flyrail, feel the rope in my lower back, the ghost of every counterweight ever dropped. Vincent leans in, lips to my ear. Caruso's youngest son, Matteo, is leading. He's twitchy, likes to fire at silhouettes. Stay behind me. The words are so soft they feel imagined, yet they fill the canal of my ear like warm wax. I nod, though he can't see. A voice floats down the stairwell, my ex Nathaniel, polished vowels bouncing off marble. The place is condemned, Matteo. No one's here but rats and has-beens. Shut it, prosecutor, Matteo snaps. We're here for the recording, not nostalgia. Vincent's grin is a sliver of white in the dark. He taps his throat mic. Playback on my mark, he whispers. Somewhere backstage, one of his men arms the sampler. I hear the tiny click through the earpiece, intimate as a heartbeat. Boots descend the narrow stairs to the vault. Each step lands hollow, a drum beat underwater. I count 12 before the first door groans open. Hinges need oil. Vincent ensured they'd scream. He wants them nervous. Inside the vault, a battery lantern flares. Through the cracked catwalk plank I glimpse Matteo's hawk profile, hair slicked back, pistol-mounted flashlight. Nathaniel follows, tie loosened, eyes darting. 2 soldiers bring up the rear, rifles slung. They see the crates of Bessie Smith records and hesitate, confused by the banality. Matteo kicks a lid, it splinters, revealing dusty 78s. Where is it? He snarls at Nathaniel. Check the turntable, Nathaniel suggests, voice higher than he wants. He said dawn, we're on time. Vincent lifts 2 fingers, wait, sweat beads under my Kevlar. The next part needs split-second timing. He slides a small mirror from his pocket, angles it through the railing. Reflected lantern light bounces to the far wall where a wire trips his cue. He taps the mic. A hiss, then the confession erupts over hidden speakers. Caruso underboss, Matteo's uncle, admitting murders, bribes, the location of bodies. My mix layers Nathaniel's voice in the background, promising legal cover. Matteo's face drains of blood. Turn it off, he roars, spraying bullets into the ceiling. Plaster showers like dirty snow. Vincent's men, hidden in the upper boxes, open fire. Muzzle flashes bloom like deadly flowers. One guard drops, the other staggers, returning wild bursts. Rounds chew through wood, slam metal. I taste copper. Vincent pulls me flat as a slug whistles overhead. Stay low, he murmurs, then he's gone, slipping over the rail, coat flaring like wings. I lose him in chaos, but his breath still pulses in my ear, faster now, exhilarated. Mateo ducks behind a crate, screaming into a radio for backup. Nathaniel backs toward the door, pistol trembling. He's always been a coward when the script flips. I crawl along the catwalk, laptop strapped to my belly. The mics I planted on the barge now stream into a separate channel, proof the Caruso's imported heroin. I need to push that file to the cloud, timed embargo set for 6 hours, insurance in case we don't walk out. Fingers fly, trackpad gritty with dust. Upload bar creeps 12%, 17%. A shadow rises beside me, Vincent's Lieutenant Marco, face streaked with soot. Need you downstairs, Dottoressa, he shouts over the gunfire. Boss wants live feed routed to speakers, make them deaf. I nod, crawl after him down a ladder. A bullet ricochets, sparks lighting the rungs. My palms blister, but I keep moving. We hit the backstage corridor, dimly lit by exit bulbs. Vincent appears from nowhere, blood on his cheek, not his. He grips my shoulder, eyes burning. Playback loops ready, I say. Need 5 minutes to patch the vault feed to house speakers. 3, he corrects and kisses me hard, stealing breath, giving purpose. Then he's gone again, leading Marco toward the wings. I shoulder open a panel, expose a nest of ancient copper wire and newer fiber optic. Splicing them feels like surgery on a corpse that refuses to die. My hands shake, I force calm, hum the Bessie Smith track, use the rhythm to steady cuts and crimps. The upload on my laptop hits 40%, good enough. I hit commit, slide the machine behind a sandbag. It'll finish or it won't. Gunfire inside a stone building is thunder in a well. Ears ring. I patch the final lead, slap a switch. Every speaker in the opera house roars with Mateo's uncle confession layered over the barge heroin audio plus Nathaniel's treason, all mixed to maximize dissonance. Sound is my weapon. I fire it. Screams echo, disoriented soldiers panicking. I sprint through the fly space, ducking ropes past a painted forest flat from La Traviata. Vincent emerges, grabs my wrist, chains us together with the phonograph key still dangling. We end it together, he says, voice ragged with adrenaline. We burst onto the stage. Mateo's last guard spins, rifle up. Vincent double taps him center mass. Mateo drags Nathaniel as shield, gun to his head. Nathaniel's eyes meet mine, widen in recognition of the woman he tried to ruin. Let him go, Mateo, Vincent calls, pistol lowered. You want the recording. Trade. Turn it off first, Mateo shrieks. Blood drips from a graze on his neck. Vincent nods. Marco kills the speakers. The sudden hush feels deafening. I hear only my heartbeat and Vincent's breath in the earpiece, calm again. He tosses a small recorder across the floor. Mateo snatches it, never releasing Nathaniel. Play it, Vincent orders. Mateo hits the button. A new file, Mateo himself, earlier this night, promising to betray his uncle, take over the family, split profits with the cops, entrapment stitched by my editing, seamless. Mateo's face drains. This is fake. Prove it in court, Vincent says softly, or walk away and pray your uncle never hears it. Mateo's gun wavers. Nathaniel seizes the moment, elbows him, dives aside. A shot cracks. Nathaniel screams, clutching his thigh. Mateo swings the muzzle toward Vincent. I step in front. No, I say, voice steady though my knees tremble. You shoot him, every news outlet gets the uncle confession plus your little treachery. You'll be dead by morning. Mateo hesitates, calculating. Vincent's hand settles on my shoulder, proud, possessive. She's right, he murmurs. Lower the weapon, walk out, tell your old man the city belongs to the silent Duke now. Sirens wail outside, Coast Guard, maybe local precinct, drawn by the earlier gunfire or an anonymous tip Vincent had Marco send. Red lights strobe through broken doors, time's up. Mateo drops the gun, spits, limps away past the wings. His men follow, dragging wounded. They'll spin a story, blame traitors, start internal purges. Vincent lets them go. Fear is more useful than corpses. Nathaniel groans on the boards, blood pooling. I kneel, press scarf to wound. He grabs my wrist, nails digging. You won't let them arrest me, Lena. Tell them I'm victim. I lean close. You wanted headlines, you'll get them. Every frequency will carry your voice, cutting deals with the mob. Enjoy prison. I stand, leave him writhing. Vincent watches, eyes unreadable. He'll live, I say. Might even testify, enough to bury the Carusos in half the precinct. He nods, then lifts the chained key between us. This stays until we're clear, insurance against second thoughts. I'm not running, I say. Good. He kisses me slow in the middle of the ruined stage, sirens growing, the world tilts. I taste gunpowder and promise. When we part, he unlocks the cuff, pockets the key. No more chains unless you ask. Police flood the corridor, shouts, hands up, we raise them. Vincent's men blend into shadows, disappearing through trapdoors only ghosts remember. Marco tosses a smoke grenade, white fog billows. In chaos, Vincent pulls me backstage, down a narrow passage to a maintenance tunnel that spits us onto an alley smelling of river and diesel. We strip Kevlar, toss them in a dumpster. Underneath, civilian coats. He offers a helmet, straddles a matte black motorcycle idling in shadow. Ride or die engineer. I climb on, arms around his ribs, cheek to leather, engine snarls. We rocket through empty pre-dawn streets, past patrol cars racing the wrong way. Wind tears tears from my eyes, I laugh, wild, alive. Over the earpiece, now just wind, he says, we disappear for a while, let the city chew itself clean. Where? I shout, anywhere with analog shelves and no extradition. I tighten my hold, take me to the place where metronomes mark time for the living, not the buried. He laughs, a sound rare as comets, music to my ears. We hit the bridge, throttle open, city shrinking in mirrors. Behind us the opera house exhales smoke, sirens, secrets. Ahead, sunrise bleeding over water, vinyl crackle of waves against pylons, and the long, unmarked road where a forensic engineer and a silent king write new tracks, ones no one will ever subpoena. My laptop is gone, evidence uploading itself into immortality. My ex bleeds on a stage he chose. My past burns. My future leans into the throttle, heart drumming 78 beats per minute, perfect tempo for lovers who learn to listen in the dark. I close my eyes, hear Vincent breathe, and know the only recording that matters now is the one our bodies make, analog, irreversible, spinning forever at the speed of trust. The motorcycle's engine growls beneath us, a low, steady thrum that matches the tempo of my pulse, 78 beats per minute, the same as the Bessie Smith track I used to steady my hands in the vault. I press my cheek to Vincent's back, feeling the vibration of the road through his leather jacket, the warmth of his body bleeding through the chill of pre-dawn air. The city behind us is a smear of sirens and smoke, a stage curtain falling on the first act of a life I no longer recognize. Ahead, the bridge arcs over the river like a question mark, and beyond it, the world is unwritten. We don't speak, we don't need to. The earpiece is gone, lost somewhere in the opera house, or maybe tossed into the river with the rest of our ghosts. But his breath is still in my head, steady, unafraid. I tighten my arms around him and feel the faint tremor in his ribs, not from fear but from something else, relief maybe, or the aftershock of violence still crackling in his blood. We've burned every bridge we crossed tonight. There's no going back, only forward. The bike leans into a curve and I let my body follow his, trusting the physics of speed and the geometry of his spine. Streetlights strobe overhead, then vanish as we leave the city limits behind. The road narrows, becomes a two-lane black ribbon stitched between pine and fog. I close my eyes and listen, wind, engine, heartbeat, no sirens, no gunfire, just the sound of escape, analog and raw. We ride for an hour, maybe two. Time stretches like tape on a reel, warped by adrenaline and the strange intimacy of shared silence. When he finally slows, it's to turn onto a dirt track I almost miss, just a gap in the trees, barely wide enough for the bike. We bump over roots and gravel, headlights off, guided by moonlight and instinct. The path ends at a weathered dock jutting into a lake I don't recognize. Mist hovers above the water like breath in winter. He cuts the engine. Silence blooms, thick and complete. He dismounts first, then helps me off, fingers lingering on my wrist where the cuff used to be. The skin there is bruised, a perfect circle of purple and gold. He brushes it with his thumb, eyes dark in the moonlight. "You're hurt," he says, voice low, rough from disuse. I shake my head, just reminded. He nods, understanding. We walk the dock, boards creaking under our boots. At the end, a small cabin cruiser bobs gently, paint peeling, name faded, the siren. He steps aboard first, then offers his hand. I take it, let him pull me across the gap. The deck is slick with dew, but the cabin door opens without resistance. Inside, it smells of cedar and oil, old wood and older secrets. He lights a lantern, not electric, kerosene flame flickering like a tongue. Shadows dance across the walls, revealing maps pinned with red tacks, a reel-to-reel recorder bolted to the table, shelves of vinyl in milk crates. A portable generator hums low beneath the floor. I sit on the bench, suddenly exhausted. He kneels, unlaces my boots, pulls them off with care. His hands are gentle, but I see the tremor still there, the aftermath of combat. I catch his wrist. "You're bleeding." He glances down, surprised, as if noticing the tear in his sleeve for the first time. A graze, shallow but angry. I find a first aid kit under the sink, clean the wound with rum from a tin cup. He doesn't flinch, just watches me, eyes unreadable. When I finish, he catches my hand, presses my palm to his lips. You stood in front of a gun for me. I stood in front of a lie, I say, the rest was collateral. His mouth curves, not quite a smile. Still, no one ever did that. I want to tell him I didn't think, just moved, that it wasn't bravery but reflex, the same way I reach for a fader when feedback howls. Instead, I lean forward and kiss him, slow, tasting rum and gunpowder. He responds like a man who's been starving, hands framing my face, thumbs brushing the hollows beneath my eyes. We breathe each other in, survivors sharing oxygen. After, we sit side by side on the narrow bunk, shoulders touching, and listen to the lake lap against the hull. He pulls a crate from under the bed, lifts out a portable turntable, sets it on the table, flips through records, finds what he wants, kind of blue, drops the needle. The cabin fills with the hush of Miles Davis, trumpet like smoke in dim light. I close my eyes, let the music settle into my bones. I used to think silence was safety, he says, voice barely above the crackle, that if I never spoke, nothing could touch me, but you, he stops, starts again, you hear everything, even the things I never said. I rest my head on his shoulder. I don't need words, Vincent, I have waveforms. He laughs under his breath, slips an arm around me. We sit like that, listening to the album finish, then the soft shh of the needle in the run-out groove. Eventually, he lifts the arm, turns the record over, but doesn't drop it. Instead, he opens a small locker, pulls out a metal box, sets it between us, unlatches it. Inside, a single reel of tape labeled in neat type, Lena/78 BPM, my breath catches. You recorded us. Every breath, he says, on the barge, in the vault, even on the bike, lav mic in my collar. I wanted proof we existed. I stare at the reel, heart thumping. Proof can be subpoenaed. Not this, he lifts it, sets it on the spindle of the deck, threads the tape. Analog. No metadata, no cloud, just magnetism and memory. He presses record, then pulls me close, kisses me again, slower, deeper. The tape turns, capturing the sound of our mouths, the catch of breath, the low moan I didn't know I made. When we part, he whispers against my lips, now we're permanent. We make love then, quiet and deliberate, as if the microphone is listening, as if the lake might testify. Every sigh, every slide of skin, every heartbeat at 78 beats per minute is archived in iron oxide. Afterward we lie tangled, sweat cooling, the boat rocking like a lullaby. He traces circles on my back, letters maybe, or just patterns. I drift, not quite asleep, aware of the tape still spinning, capturing the silence between us, rich with unspoken things. Dawn creeps through the porthole, pale and watery. He's already up, standing naked at the stove, brewing coffee that smells like earth and escape. I pull his shirt around me, join him. He pours 2 mugs, hands me one. No sugar, no cream, just bitter and hot. I sip, watch him. Where do we go from here? He nods toward the maps on the wall. Red tax-marked ports, Halifax, St. John's, Reykjavik. North, there's a pressing plant in Reykjavik, analog only. They cut custom lacquers. We could press a single, 1 copy, bury it somewhere only we know. I raise an eyebrow, a vinyl dead drop. Insurance, he says, if anyone comes looking, we disappear, but the recording survives, a ghost that can haunt them forever. I consider we'd need a label, something innocuous. He smiles, the first real one I've seen, soft and crooked. Siren Records, he taps the boat's nameplate. First release, heartbeat at 78, limited edition of 1. I laugh, surprised by how easy it feels. B-side. Silence, he says, 4 minutes 33 seconds. Cage would approve. We drink our coffee, planning in whispers. He'll contact a forger in Halifax for new passports. I'll use my mother's maiden name. He'll use the one he buried in a Baltimore cemetery at 17. We'll take the boat up the St. Lawrence, hug the coast, avoid radar. In Reykjavik, we'll rent a flat above the plant, pretend to be artists, sound sculptors maybe. No one questions eccentrics who pay in cash. I finish my coffee, set the mug down. What about the families? His face hardens. They'll war for a while. Caruso's uncle will gut Mateo. The cops will chew Nathaniel for headlines. By the time the dust settles, we're myth, 2 more ghosts in a city full of them. I nod, believing it because I need to. Outside, gulls wheel overhead, crying like faulty tape. He pulls me close, kisses my forehead. We should move at dusk, Coast Guard patrols at noon. I help him strip the bunk, fold the sheets. He coils cables, stows the turntable. I rewind the tape, labels it in pencil. Side A, heartbeat/side B, silence. Slide it into a metal canister, seals it with wax. He watches, eyes soft. You sure you want to disappear? No more city noise, no more sensors, just analog and anonymity. I look at him, really look, the man who never spoke, now whispering futures, the killer who chained me to save me, the silence I learned to read like Braille. I was always running towards something, I say. Tonight I finally caught it. He nods, understanding. We work side by side, packing food, fuel, the forger's envelope of identities. When the sun hangs low, orange bleeding into the lake, we cast off. He starts the engine, a quiet purr. I stand at the bow, wind in my hair, tape canister in my pocket, heartbeat steady at 78. Behind us, the dock shrinks, then vanishes. Ahead, the horizon is a vinyl groove, waiting for the needle. I close my eyes, listen. Water against hull, gulls overhead, the faint mechanical heartbeat of the boat. And beneath it all, the ghost of a recording only we can hear, analog, irreversible, spinning forever at the speed of trust. The engine thrums under my boots like a low E string, vibration traveling up my spine, through the canister in my pocket, straight into the bones of my inner ear. Vincent keeps one hand on the wheel, the other on my hip, as though the boat is a long note that might drift off key if he lets go. Dusk flattens the lake into hammered copper, our wake fans out, a white vinyl scratch disappearing behind us. No lights on the dash, he's running dark, navigating by memory and the green ghost of an old radar repeater that blinks every 7 seconds. I count them like tempo markings, 7 breathe, 7 breathe. The tape in my pocket feels heavier than lead, lighter than evidence. We don't speak, we don't need to. The hush between us is its own dialect, one we've been writing since the barge, syllables of pulse and static. I lean into his shoulder, feel the faint tremor still living in his collarbone, aftermath of the gun that didn't go off because I stepped in front of it. The bruise on my sternum is blooming, purple-black petals that ache when I inhale. I cherish the pain, it proves the moment was real, that I chose the trajectory of my own body the way I choose where to drop the needle on a wax master. A marker buoy bobs portside, red as a puncture wound. Vincent corrects 5 degrees starboard, fingertips a conductor's flick. I watch the way he listens to the engine, head cocked, parsing every misfire the way I parse clipped waveforms. He's waiting for a skip, a hiccup, the mechanical tell that would force us to kill the motor and drift. If we drift, we're prey. If we run loud, we're target practice for the Mounties' helicopter patrols. The margin is 1 beat wide. I slip the canister out, roll it between my palms. We could throw it over, I whisper. Let the lake swallow the only copy. He doesn't look at me. Ghosts don't drown, they just echo. I picture iron oxide dissolving, music bleeding into silt, our heartbeats dispersing among zebra mussels and lost fishing lures. The image should comfort me, instead it chills. Erase the proof and we become the ghosts. I slide the canister back into my pocket, button the flap. The shoreline recedes until the trees are black sawteeth against a last stripe of orange. Night exhales, fog rolling out of the forests like stage smoke. Vincent checks a compass the size of a nickel, then a laminated chart he keeps folded inside his jacket. His finger traces the St. Lawrence, stops at a dot labeled Tadoussac. Cargo ship corridor, he murmurs. We hitch a ride in her wake, hide inside her noise. He means the hydrophone profile, a freighter's screw churning at 15 knots masks our 20-foot putter in broadband hiss. I smile, he's mixing acoustics the way I layer tracks, one sound hiding another. We throttle down to idle, let momentum carry us toward the channel. A container ship appears, a floating tenement of lights. He times our approach, waits until her bulk eclipses the moon, then guns the throttle. We surge into her wash, pocket-sized predators under a leviathan skirt. The lake turns restless, slapping our hull. Spray lashes my cheeks, salt bitter. Vincent's arm tightens around me, steadying. We ride the turbulence for 20 minutes 30 until the ship's stern light shrinks to a ruby bead. When her engine note drops, he veers south, cuts the motor again. Silence blooms like ink. I check my watch, 21:47, 6 hours to Halifax if the weather holds. Stars pierce the fog, cold pinpricks. My thoughts drift to Nathaniel, my ex, the prosecutor, wondering whether he's back in the city by now, brandishing warrants, screaming betrayal. I imagine him playing the leaked snippet for task force cops, the smug certainty that I forged it, that I'm unstable, vengeful. Memory of his public sneer at the gala still burns. But Vincent's kiss that night burns brighter, the way he slid the earpiece into my palm like slipping a blade between ribs. Let him watch what he lost. A light blinks ahead, 2 short, 1 long. Vincent answers with a flashlight covered to a pinhole, 1 short. The reply comes back, duplicate, safe passage. He relaxes a fraction, rolls his shoulders. Friends of friends, he says. They'll refuel us, maybe sell us a storm front on radar. We nose toward a cove where a single trawler waits, paint peeling like sunburnt skin. 2 men in wool coats catch our lines, speaking French too fast for me to follow. Their breath fogs. One claps Vincent on the back, calls him Leduc in a tone both reverent and mocking. They don't ask my name, eyes linger on the bruise peeking above my collar, then slide away. Below deck, they hand over jerry cans of diesel, a plastic bag of cod cakes, and a manila envelope thick with documents. Vincent trades a roll of cash and a promise spoken too low for me to catch. Back in the cockpit, he opens the envelope, 2 Canadian passports, driver's licenses, health cards, a visa stamped with the Icelandic flag. My photo taken months ago, I realize when I thought we were still enemies, stares back, name listed as Linnea Sigurðardóttir. His shows Viggo Sigurðsson, married of course, the forger even forged witness. Sigurðsson, I tease, Viking blood. He shrugs, easier than explaining Calabrian skin to customs. He runs a thumb along my cheekbone, a gesture part claim, part wonder. We land in Reykjavik as artists. You sculpt sound, I sculpt marble. We keep our heads down. And the recording. He taps the canister in my pocket. We press it, bury it, forget coordinates, insurance sleeps. I want to believe forgetting is possible. I've spent my career proving every sound leaves a fingerprint, that nothing vanishes completely. Yet here I am, fleeing into myth with a man whose body count is etched in police files he's never bothered to deny. The contradiction sits between us like an extra heartbeat. We cast off again, waves slapping. The trawler's running lights fade. I take the wheel so he can rest, though I've never piloted a boat. He stands behind me, hands over mine, guiding. Wind shifts, carries diesel and pine. Hours slide by measured in compass ticks. My shoulders stiffen, eyes burn, but I refuse sleep. Somewhere near dawn the fog thickens to wool. He kisses my nape, murmurs, "Let me." I step aside, knees wobbling. He navigates by radar blips and instinct while I curl on the bunk below, boots still on. The engine's thrum becomes a lullaby, a heartbeat at 78. I dream of the opera house, its chandeliers dark, its seats shrouded except the stage is lit by a single work lamp. On it, a reel-to-reel spins, tape spewing into the orchestra pit like entrails. I walk the aisle barefoot, each step echoing. The tape forms words I can't read. When I reach for it, the lamp pops, glass showering. I wake gasping, forehead damp. Vincent's hand steadies my shoulder. "We're here," he says. Through the porthole, Halifax harbor glimmers, container cranes skeletal against a pewter sky. Oil tankers sleep like beasts. He's already radioed for a slip, no customs flag, no inspection requested. Bribery or blackmail, I don't ask. We tie up in a marina wedged between tourist schooners. He pulls a ball cap low, hands me sunglasses though the sun is weak. On the pier, gulls shriek, tourists snap photos of lobster traps. We walk like honeymooners, arms linked, heads down. The forger's envelope includes a truck registration. We find the pickup in long-term parking, keys taped beneath the bumper. Inside, a cooler holds coffee, 2 burner phones, and a 9 with the serial filed off. Vincent checks the chamber, tucks it under the seat. The drive to the airport takes 20 minutes. He keeps to the speed limit, radio off. My pulse is loud enough. At a red light, I spot a cruiser 2 lanes over. The officer glances our way, my lungs seize. Vincent's thumb rubs my knuckles, steady, steady. The light changes, we roll on, departures is quiet. We check bags, 2 guitars in hard cases, a suitcase of clothes bought by proxy. At security, I expect the recording to set off alarms, but the canister looks like a pill case, inert. We pass through the scanner without incident. On the concourse, I finally exhale. Gate B27. Flights to Reykjavik leave twice a week. We're on the evening red-eye. We sit near the window, backs to the wall, eyes on the crowd. Families with toddlers, students with backpacks, no suits, no furtive hands. Still, every sudden laugh makes my stomach jump. Vincent opens a paperback, Camus, dog-eared, pretends to read while watching. We don't speak. The silence is habit now, muscle memory. When boarding starts, we wait for the final call, then join the last handful. The jetway smells of kerosene and cold. Inside the cabin, he stows our cases, slides into the middle seat so I can have the window. As engines spool, he reaches for my hand, interlaces fingers. His palm is calloused warm. I realize I'm shaking. "Cold?" he asks. Terrified, I admit. He lifts our joined hands, kisses my pulse. We're already ghosts. Ghosts can't die twice. The plane taxis, accelerates, lifts. Halifax shrinks, then the island, then the continent. Clouds swallow us. Somewhere over the Atlantic, dinner carts roll. I decline food except wine. The hum of turbines becomes a drone track, sub-bass under everything. I close my eyes, feel the canister against my thigh, feel his shoulder against mine. For the first time in weeks, no one knows exactly where we are. The thought is vertigo and relief. Hours later, Captain announces descent. I open the shutter, dawn ignites the horizon, ice flows glittering like shattered glass. We break through cloud into a world white and cobalt. The plane banks over Reykjavik, colorful roofs, steaming harbor, mountains sheared by ancient lava. Vincent squeezes my hand. "Welcome to forever," he says, voice low, awed. Immigration is a corridor of blonde wood and polite nods. The officer stamps our forged passports without question. Customs is a green lane and a smile. Outside, air knifes cold, smells of seawater and geothermal vents. He hails a cab, gives an address in Icelandic. The driver nods, uninterested. The city slides past low houses, corrugated iron-painted sherbet, cathedral spire like a whale skeleton. We cross a bay, water the color of gunmetal. He keeps me close, eyes flicking mirrors. No tails. The cab stops in front of a narrow house wedged between artist studios. He pays cash, shoulders our bags. Inside, the flat is sparse. White walls, heated floors, a kitchen island of pale birch. Windows look onto a courtyard where a single tree stands leafless. He sets guitars by the wall, then pulls me into him, forehead to forehead. We made it. I want to collapse, but adrenaline still buzzes. Now the record, I say, before we lose nerve. He smiles, tired, tender, after sleep. We undress each other slowly, mapping new skin under new light, Icelandic sun slanted bluish. The bed is a raft, we drift, no microphones, no chains. When he enters me, it's whisper-soft, reverent. Afterwards, we lie tangled, breath fogging in the cool room. Outside, wind rattles the pane. I listen for threat, hear only weather. Sleep takes me like a crossfade. I dream again of the opera house, but this time the stage is empty, the reel-to-reel still. I walk to it, press play. The tape is silent, 4 minutes, 33 seconds. I wake with a start, heart hammering. Vincent snores lightly, arm heavy across my waist. Sun has shifted, afternoon glows gold. I slip from bed, find my jeans, remove the canister. In the kitchen, I set it upright like a votive. The label faces me, Lena/78 BPM, ink already fading. I fetch my laptop, open a new session, but there's no interface, no preamp, no reason except habit. Proof or prison, nothing between. Vincent appears, hair mussed, eyes puffed. He pours coffee black, hands me a mug. Steam curls, ready? He asks. I nod, though I'm not. We dress, jeans, coats, scarves. He locks the flat, pockets the keys. Outside, Reykjavik bustles under a sky-threatening snow. He leads me along streets painted with lyrics Lennon, Björk, Sigur Rós until we reach a storefront stenciled HL Jodhverk. Inside smells of cedar and coffee, racks of vinyl, a desk where a bearded man nods recognition. They speak Icelandic. I catch lacquer, one off cash. The man gestures us downstairs. The pressing room is warm, machines idle, a lathe for cutting acetate, hydraulic press, plates stacked like armor. He offers us white coveralls. We don suits, hairnets. Vincent hands over the reel. The engineer threads it onto a Nagra, plays back a snippet through monitors, our breath, our mouths, the faint thud of the bunk against hull. Hearing it in open air feels obscene, holy. He nods approval, begins. First, he cuts a lacquer, one, only one. The sapphire stylus etches spiral grooves, vibrating with our heartbeat at 78. I watch mesmerized as our private universe is carved into lacquer dust. When Saida finishes, he flips, cuts silence, 4.5 minutes of groove with nothing but room tone. He cleans the lathe, plates the lacquer in silver, then molds a stamper. We press the record using black vinyl pellets melted and squeezed, labels blank white. While the press hisses, Vincent wraps an arm around me. A last chance to destroy it. I shake my head. We already destroyed everything else. The record cools, then slides into a plain sleeve, no center label. He hands it to me like a newborn. I feel the weight, about 130 grams, the sum of our lives. We thank the engineer, pay in full, leave no names. Outside, twilight bruises the horizon. Snow begins, fat flakes landing on the sleeve, melting. We walk to the harbor, past trawlers creaking, past a concert hall whose facade is glass hexagons like basalt columns. At the edge of the pier, wind howls. I slip off the outer sleeve, pocket the naked disc. He produces a grease pencil, hands it to me. I write on the run-out groove, side a heartbeat, side B silence, 33 RPM. I add today's date, nothing else. We kneel, prise up a loose paving stone. Below is gravel ice. I place the record inside a plastic sleeve, then into a metal film canister. He sprinkles desiccant, seals it with electrical tape. Together we bury it, tamp the stone back. Snow continues, erasing footprints. He straightens, brushes snow from my hair. Coordinates, he asks. I smile, memorized. We walk back through swirling white, hands linked. Somewhere behind us, our heartbeat sleeps beneath volcanic stone, waiting for a future needle. Ahead, the city lights blur into aurora, green, violet, white like waveforms dancing. I think of Nathaniel, of microphones that never heard us again. At the flat, we strip wet clothes, brew cocoa spiked with Brennivin. Steam fogs windows. He sets a portable turntable on the table, drops the needle on an empty platter. The room fills with crackle, then nothing. 4 minutes, 33 seconds of living silence. We sit wrapped in a blanket, listening to snow fall on the roof, to our hearts learning new time. When the side ends, he lifts the arm, turns to me. Now we live, he says. I kiss him, tasting schnapps and possibility. Outside, wind howls like applause. We don't bow, we don't leave the flat for 3 days. The snow keeps falling, thick and sound dampening, turning Reykjavik into a muffled diorama. We pull the curtains, unplug the clock, let time go slack. We make love until our skin feels like someone else's, until we're just heat and breath and the low hum of the radiator. When we're too tender to touch, we lie tangled and talk in whispers about everything except the past. He tells me about the first time he saw a vinyl record, his mother's, a Nat King Cole 45 she kept in a velvet-lined box like it was the host. I tell him about the first time I heard a heartbeat through a stethoscope, how it sounded like someone knocking from the inside of a locked room. We don't talk about Nathaniel, we don't talk about the opera house, we don't talk about the canister under the paving stone. We pretend we're just two people who met in a record store and liked the same B-side. On the fourth morning, the sky clears. The city is blinding white, the air so cold it feels carbonated. We walk to a cafe that smells of cardamom and burnt sugar. He orders for us an Icelandic kaffi and pernukirkur, thin crepes folded with jam. I watch him handle the language like a switchblade, quick, neat, hidden again. The waitress smiles at him longer than she needs to. I don't feel jealous. I feel proud, and that terrifies me. We sit by the window. Steam fogs the glass. He spreads jam with the back of a spoon, licks a smear from his thumb. We need work, he says, quiet. I nod. Money is getting thin. We left the barge with only what we could carry, cash, passports, the real. No cards, no wires, no digital trail. We agreed on that, but cash burns fast in Nordic countries and we're too conspicuous here, dark, quiet, always looking over our shoulders. I've already checked the local listings. There's a university lab that contracts forensic audio analysis for cold cases. They want someone who can isolate a confession from a 1998 cassette where a snowplow drowns the voice. I could do it in my sleep, but the job needs references, a degree scan, a background check. I can't give them Lena Morty, she's supposed to be dead. Vincent sips his coffee, eyes on the street. I've got something, he says, low profile, cash. I wait, he doesn't like being rushed. Collector in Berlin, he says, wants a lacquer cut from a wire recording, 1945, a Soviet officer singing Schubert in a cellar while the city falls apart. One off, no labels, no questions. I stare at him, you still have the lathe contacts. He shrugs, they don't ask names, just frequencies. I look out the window, a child falls over in the snow, laughs. The sound is bright, fragile. Berlin's a short flight, I say. Train's safer, no passports scanned. He wipes his mouth. We'd be back before the snow melts. I feel the pull, the old reflex, pack, run, survive, but something heavy settles in my chest. We said we'd stay. We said we'd live, he counters. Living costs. I look at his hands wrapped around the mug. They're steady, but the knuckles are white. I realize he's already agreed. He just hasn't asked me yet. I lean back. I'll need gear, portable preamp, a good mic, the Nagra's too heavy. He nods, relief flickering across his face like a passing headlight. I'll make a list. We finish eating in silence. Outside, the sun is already sinking, a pale disk behind colored houses. We walk back through the twilight, footprints crisp. He takes my hand inside his pocket, squeezes. We'll be quick, he says, in and out like ghosts. I want to believe him. We leave at dawn. The train hugs the coast, then dives inland through lava fields that look like the moon forgot to finish. He's booked a private sleeper, 2 bunks, a window, a door that locks. We sit facing each other, knees touching, watching the landscape scroll. Snow gives way to moss, then pine. We pass lakes the color of gun oil. At the border, customs boards. We hand over our forged EU passports, Italian names, same birthday, different years. The officer stamps without looking up. My lungs feel too small. Vincent stares out the window like he's counting trees. When the door slides shut again, he exhales through his nose. We don't speak. The train accelerates. Night falls early. We climb into the narrow bed together, cling to each other like teenagers. He hums against my neck low, tuneless. I feel the vibration more than hear it. My body responds before my mind catches up. We move slow, deliberate, trying not to creak the bunk. Afterward, I lie with my cheek on his sternum, listening to his heart. It's steady, 72 BPM. I wonder if he's counting mine. We reach Berlin Hauptbahnhof at 600. The station is glass and steel, echoing with announcements. We melt into the crowd, 2 more dark coats, 2 more tired faces. He's arranged a safe flat in Wedding, top floor of a pre-war building, with a courtyard where ivy grows like scar tissue. The stairs smell of cabbage and turpentine. Inside, the flat is bare, a mattress on the floor, a hot plate, a turntable, no microphones, no wiring. I check anyway, running fingers along baseboards. He watches, amused. Paranoid, he says. Alive, I correct. We sleep until dusk, then head out. Berlin is wet, the streets reflecting neon like oil. We take the U-Bahn to Friedrichshagen, a quiet suburb on the lake. The collector lives in a house that looks like a gingerbread cottage left out in the rain. He's waiting at the door, tall, thin, wearing a cardigan with elbow patches and the